Hey guys, here I am looking like I'm ready for Crazy Hair Day, but I know you guys are dying to know what's going to happen at the beginning of Hate That Cat by Sharon Creech. So I thought I would just go ahead and record you this video, even though my hair might be leaving something to be desired. So here we go, Hate That Cat. And I love the dedication to this book. It says, for all you cat lovers out there, and all you cat haters too, with special thanks to Walter Dean Myers, Christopher Myers, Joanna Coulter, Karen Nagel, Allison Day, and to all the poets, and Mr. and Ms. Stretchberries, who inspire students every day. I like that. So that's to all of us, poets and teachers. And that includes your parents right now. They're helping be your teachers right now too, right? Okay, so Jack, room 204, Miss Stretchberry. September 12th. Now you might notice. September, new school year, same teacher. September 12th. I hate that cat like a dog hates a rat. I said, I hate that cat like a dog hates a rat. Hate to see it in the morning. Hate to see that fat black cat. Did you just hear my cat meow behind me? That was completely coincidental. But Fern just came right in here and meow. She must have thought that poem was about her. Sorry, Fernie. She's a black cat, too. September 13th. Sorry. I didn't know you liked cats. Didn't know you have one. September 14th. More poetry. You probably think we will remember what we learned last year, right? What if we don't remember? What if our brains shrunk? What if it's too hard? But I am glad you are my teacher again. I hope you will keep moving up a grade every year along with me. So now we know why Miss Stretchberry is Jack's teacher again. She's moved on up a grade, like Mrs. Doyen's doing next year. So maybe some of Mrs. Doyen's students will have her again next year too. Maybe some of you will as well. Oh, and here's why he's glad. You understand my brain. That's a good feeling when someone that you know understands your brain. Do you have anybody who you feel like really understands your brain? A teacher or another grown-up or a friend? September 19th. No, I cannot write any more about my dog Sky. Maybe all of the words about Sky flew out of my head last year. I think about him all the time, and I see him in my mind, and some of his yellow fur is still on my yellow chair. And sometimes I think I hear him, a-rum, a-rum, that sound he made when he was happy. Like that onomatopoeia of Sky's happy sound. But no, I can't write about Sky. A-N-Y-M-O-R-E. Maybe I could write about a cat, a mean cat, a crazy mean fat black cat. Although my Uncle Bill, who was a teacher in college, said those words I wrote about Sky were not poems. He said they were just words coming out of my head, and that a poem has to rhyme and have regular meter and symbols and metaphors and onomatopoeia something and a litter something. And I wanted to punch him. Jack, the aggressiveness there. So see how when he wrote anymore, how he stretched it out with those hyphens. We've been seeing Jack do that in other places too, like onomatopoeia something and a litter something. So sometimes when poets want to create a new word or make an effect, they can connect words with hyphens like that, and it kind of makes something new. So you might want to consider that when you're doing some poetry writing. You can see he also did several times that faster rhythm of his poem with the one word per line, like words coming out of my head. Now, thinking about what his uncle said to him, Uncle Bill, some poems rhyme. Some poems have a regular meter, which is that rhythm that we talked about in some poems. Some poems use symbols. Oh, that reminded me. When we were talking about symbolism way back in Love That Dog, the many miles to go before I sleep, that's a common symbol that poets and writers use. And maybe some of you already figured this out, maybe some of you didn't, but sleep is actually often a symbol for death in writing. So I have many miles to go before I sleep in that poem by Robert Frost might actually mean I have more living to do before I die. So that's like an example of symbolism in poetry. He also, Uncle Bill says here, that they use metaphors, and we have seen some similes and metaphors being used, like even right here in Jack's new Hate That Cat poem. I hate that cat like a dog hates a rat. So when you're using like or as to compare something, that's a simile, and a metaphor is the same idea. You just don't use like or as. And then onomatopoeia something, we know that's onomatopoeia, just like Jack already used that himself in this very poem. Arum, the sounds of Sky's happy sound. And aliter something, when you use that same beginning sound often in writing, and we see that a lot in a lot of different poems. So, not very nice that Jack wanted to punch him. Maybe, as we know here in the Red Zone, he would maybe just communicate with words. Uncle Bill, I respectfully disagree with you about poetry, and I can give you some examples of poems that do not contain all of those poetic techniques, although some poems do. September 21st. Another thing Uncle Bill said was that my lines should be longer, like in real writing. But here's what happens when I try to make them longer. The page is too wide and the words get all mumbled jumbled, and it makes my eyes hurt, and all that white space, the edge of the page so far away. In order to get all the words down that are coming out of my head, I have to forget the commas and periods, or I have to go back and stick them in all over the place like this, which looks, if you ask me, stupid. But if you write short lines, a person knows where to breathe, short or long, and I hate to read those long lines, and I don't want to write them either. So that was overuse of commas by Jack, as you're going to see. So you can see there where he has all of the words and the lines, and he stretched out longer. But then when he was using those long lines, and then towards the bottom where he just put all of those commas in, it made his writing really chopped up. So again, while Uncle Bill might believe that you have to do certain things in poetry, just like in math, there's maybe more than one solution, more than one strategy, more than one way to do it and make it work. So I'm glad that Jack is sticking to what he believes in poetry. September 26th. I wish you would tell my Uncle Bill all those things you said today about our own rhythms and our own images bouncing around in our words and making them poems. And yes, I understand that if I am ever the President of the United States, I might be expected to write very, very long lines. But in the meantime, I can make my lines short, short, short if I want to. Jack still has that sassy little attitude, doesn't he? But even if you told my Uncle Bill all that stuff, he wouldn't believe you. He likes to argue. My mother likes my short lines. She runs her fingers down them and taps her lips once, twice. And I think I understood what you said about onomatopoeia something and alliter something and not having to be in a poem, and how sometimes they enrich a poem, but sometimes they can also make a poem sound purple. Purple! Ha ha ha! So think about that. What do you think she means when she said that sometimes they can enrich a poem, but other times they can make a poem sound purple. How could alliteration make a poem sound purple if you use it too much? That's going to be one of our questions for today. October 3rd. Okay. I will learn how to spell alliteration and onomatopoeia, right? And I will practice them in case I ever need them to enrich something. Ready? I can't do it. Brain frozen. First, you need to have something to write about. You can't just alliterate and onomatopoeiate all over the place, can you? So I like how Jack, again, he's making his own, I do this. You can see how, for his pause here, the how he kind of spaced it out. And then he made his own words, alliterate and onomatopoeiate. He turned them into verbs, like action words. And again, that's a technique that poets especially can do when creating these kind of new and silly words sometimes. But I like what Jack is doing there. But he's just not ready to write a poem with onomatopoeia and alliteration just yet. He's trying to think of something to write about. And that's, as we know, the first step to writing anything is you've got to think of a topic. So I want you to think of a topic right now. What's maybe a topic you want to write about, a few lines at least, a poem where you might too use onomatopoeia and alliteration. So think of your topic first, and then we'll see if we can write about it in our response. October 10th. I felt like there were feathers in my brain when you brought out those objects and we practiced doing alliteration on them, like with the purple pickle and the polished pencil and the chocolate chalk. But the pickle was not purple and the pencil was not polished and the chalk was not chocolate. So my Uncle Bill would probably say we are wrong, even though it is fun to imagine a purple pickle, a polished pencil, and chocolate chalk. I like this idea of practicing alliteration. So you too can pick a few items in your house or your yard that you might want to practice some alliteration on. So think about that. Pick maybe 3 things just like Jack did. Not a pickle, pencil, or chalk, but something else that you might start to think about practicing alliteration with, the beginning sounds. Remember, it also can be that the spelling could be different. Like sometimes, as we know, letters like C and K can both make the K sound at the beginning of a word. And it's okay if for alliteration the spelling is different as long as the sound is okay. All right, we're going to read this last one for today. October 12th. Something I am wondering. If you cannot hear, do words have no sounds in your head? Do you see a silent movie? Okay, so I'm going to leave us wondering, why do you think Jack might be wondering about that? And I'm going to encourage you to think back to something that he said about his mom running her fingers down his short lines and tapping her lips, and see if you can use that last poem that he wrote where he's wondering and something about his mom, and kind of see if you make a prediction about why you think he might be saying that. Okay, so that's all for the beginning of Hate That Cat. And maybe also we might be wondering, why does he hate that fat black cat? And make a prediction about that too. All right, see you tomorrow for the next part. Bye.